Hey everyone, welcome back to the Lace-Up channel. My name's Mickey. Today we're going to talk about everything scan-based trading. What is scan-based trading? Why was it set up? What are the pros? What are the cons? How can you get set up with it? Anyways, let's get right into it. So scan-based trading is when the retailer that you distribute to, they pay you directly into your bank account every single time that product gets scanned out of a register. So for instance, let's say that you distribute iPhone cables and you leave 10 iPhone cables at a CVS. The moment 5 of those iPhone cables get scanned out of the register, depending on the agreement you have with the retailer, they'll deposit the money for that transaction into your bank account. Now this was invented by the retailer for the retailer because the retailer realized that the traditional distribution model had a tremendous amount of shrinkage. Now what kind of shrinkage? So remember, when you distribute traditionally to somebody and they're back to receiving, there is a receiving process. And in that receiving process, you leave it open for the distributor to potentially steal from the retailer. You leave it open for the distributor to potentially bring in unauthorized product into the retailer. You leave it open for the distributor to possibly have something misscanned. Okay, so there could be all these errors. And the bottom line is this was costing companies on average, let's say it's a chain of 100 retailers, it was costing about 60 million a year. So we're like, okay, how do we solve this problem? Well, let's take the incidence, the cost of the inventory, remove it from our balance sheet and put it on the balance sheet of the distributor. Now think about that. They took that value, removed it from their balance sheet and put it on your balance sheet, the distributor. Now, with it being on your balance sheet, that means that you're responsible for it. So any product that you put into the customer, it's yours. Now, what are the pros of this? Now, the pros are very simple for you. The pros are you get paid a lot faster, so you don't have to rely on terms and a check to come in, and then you don't have to take that check and deposit it into your bank. Essentially, that check gets directly deposited into your bank account digitally. That's great because you get paid faster. That's one of the pros. Secondly, scan-based trading systems are able to give you forecasting information. They're able to give you sales information so that you can understand how certain products are moving in each store so you can make the right orders to decrease the amount of shrinkage on your end. So overall, you're gonna get a lot more data. You're gonna get paid a lot faster. Those are the pros. But what are the cons? The cons are the fact that you are responsible for all that inventory on your balance sheet, meaning that if somebody walks in, a customer, for example, takes that product out of the store and walks out, guess who's responsible for that inventory? You are. So essentially, you've put all that cost on you. And by putting all that cost on you, that means you're susceptible to theft, okay? You're susceptible to people being less careful with your product or being more careless with your product. And you're susceptible to less control over your inventory. Now, what do you do to set up a scan-based trading system? So there's a lot of scan-based trading platforms out there. There's 2 parts to setting up any scan-based trading system. The first part is you have to locate a scan-based trading provider. Now, a couple providers are like Nexus, Park City Group, and essentially what these people do is they set you up with the retailer, they'll be the intermediary, and essentially anytime the retailer deposits the money, it goes to Nexus first. There's a little reconciliation process and it gets deposited to you. And this is great because essentially you get a report for what's sold through the register. And if you're a savvy distributor, you should know what you put in. And you can calculate and reconcile exactly what inventory is over or short. Okay, if you're short, if people are walking into the store and stealing your product, this means that you can report back to Nexus or Park City Group and they'll dispute payment for you. And maybe they'll even be able to collect payment for the retailer and deposit that payment into your bank account. So again, you want to get set up with one of these platforms, but the second and most important thing is having the ammunition to actually defend yourself if you're getting shorted. The only way you can have this ammunition is you need to have some format, some process where you document exactly what you bring into each store and what the inventory was when you got there. So you need to be able to count what's left on the display. You need to be able to count what you're bringing in. You need to count what you're taking out. That way your system or that piece of paper you're writing on serves as a record for the inventory in that store. Then when Park City Group or Nexus or whatever SPT platform you're using sends that report, you're gonna compare what you documented versus that report. And those 2 values should match. But if there's any overages and shortages, you'll know exactly what store stole from you. You'll know exactly what driver messed up and left too much product. You'll know exactly what's going on with everything, but you have to make sure that you cover both sides, both the distributor side, which is getting some kind of system or process with a piece of paper, and the retailer side through Nexus or Park City Group. Now anyways, Doing scam-based trading is not something that should be taken lightly. As a matter of fact, a lot of my customers that do it struggle financially with the retailers because there's a lot of this shrinkage, and the cost of this shrinkage lies solely on their shoulders. So this is not to be taken lightly, but if you put the right systems in place and work with the right people, you can mitigate this theft, this shrinkage, and at the end you could actually benefit from this because you'll be able to decrease credit substantially to the point that there should be none, because essentially you know what each store is selling through every single day. So anyways, I hope that simple explanation helped you understand a little bit better what scam-based trading is. If you agree, disagree, if you have a comment, hit me down below. I'll make sure to get back to you. Apart from that, I look forward to seeing you guys next video. Take care.